How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Family. We are back with another FPL video, and today we're going to be taking a look at my version of a free hit draft and what type of formation and who I would play in that free hit draft if I was going to use it. I still have it available for blank game week 29. I think I should be okay. I don't think there's very many upsides for it, but yeah, we'll get into that as we go through the draft. If you haven't done so already, make sure to leave a like on the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new, and turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available, and drop us a follow over on Twitter so that you can keep up to date with all the different posts that we do over there, as well as when we go live on Twitch, so drop us a follow there. It's PilotFlame226 on both of those platforms. We do our live streams for previews as well as deadline streams, which we'll be doing one tomorrow, 7 p.m. EST over on Twitch. So make sure to come check us out over there. So without further ado, let's see what free hit draft I have drawn up for game week 29. So as you can see up on the screen, this is the draft that I have for game week 29, for blank game week 29, for a free hit. Now, obviously, all of these players can't play, but these are some of the players that I would be interested in because the budget is pretty open, honestly. You can get a pretty good team with pretty much a even less than 100 million and still be quite fine. You can have Bamford, Son, Bale, Aubameyang. You can have the most expensive players in there and still be quite fine. I think I ended up with like 8.9 million or something extra, for this team. So there's just many different players you can choose from in terms of, cheap players. But obviously that leads to the fact that you have basically, you can pick any team you want with a free hit, even if you start off with less than 100 million. But yeah, in terms of the fixtures, not really much great fixtures for this game week. You have 4 fixtures in total, and kind of the 4 best teams all play each other. West Ham play Arsenal, and Aston Villa play Spurs. So those teams you probably kind of look at as probably the, premium or better players. And then you obviously have Brighton versus Newcastle, and then Leeds versus Fulham. Those two, ideal sense, you could say, oh, one may be better than the other. But with Fulham's, rise in the past few weeks, Newcastle's fall, and Brighton's inability to score in front of goal, and Leeds, potentially missing Patrick Bamford, who we actually have in this draft, there is a bit of, potential for some upsets and maybe some picks to go wrong. But we'll go through those picks and see what we would potentially replace them with. So, in goal, we'll start there. I have Sanchez and Areola. Obviously, you'd want to pick a goalkeeper because you have plenty of money to make sure that if one of them didn't play, you'd still be okay. But I think Sanchez is probably the best goalkeeper. He is going up against Newcastle, and they just can't really score. And they're probably going to go there and try to see if they can get a point. I don't think they're expecting any more or anything less than that. If they can nick something on the break, then that's beneficial. But they're going to want to go there for a 0-0. And with Brighton's frustrations in front of goal, they may be able to do that. But I think Sanchez is pretty much, in for a clean sheet. He's not going to get any save points, I don't think, because I don't think that Wilson is back fit for Newcastle. This is at the time of recording. And they don't see them having St. Maximin or Almiron back because they're scheduled back for the, partway into April. So they're unavailable. And just they're not going to get any attacking threat anywhere else. Maybe Ryan Fraser, but not really too much going on there. He needs somebody else to kind of help him out. And Joe Linton and Andy Carroll have just been, very, very underwhelming, all things considered. And then obviously we have Areola, who I also think is probably the second best goalkeeper this week. I'm considering playing him over Martinez because I think that Leeds' scoring in front of goal has been a bit, kind of a bit all over the place. And with Bamford potentially injured, although Bielsa did come out and say that he shouldn't miss the game, but he definitely has soreness in his hip. Maybe he's not 100%. Maybe they're not firing. And maybe he, isn't on his, tip-top form. So in this case, I would play Sanchez over Areola and have Areola as the backup goalkeeper, just in case Sanchez, for whatever reason, didn't play. In defense, I've gone with the 5, in my opinion, best defenders that you could pick in this game. I think that Dunk and Veltman from Brighton will start there. A lot of people are probably going to have this double up on a free hit. Some people may have already transferred these two in. I think from set pieces, Veltman it is quite good, but even better is Dunk. And I think if Veltman plays in a fullback role or a back 3, I still think he's going to be able to, provide for the team. And he's just such a good price, so an easy way into the, the clean sheet for Brighton if they were to get it versus Newcastle, which is looking very likely. And I think that with, you know, the likes of Dan Byrne picking up an injury, being substituted at halftime in game week 28, Veltman and Dunk just seem to be the most safe ones there. Yeah, Ben White's probably in there as well, but I think Veltman potentially provides a little bit more attacking threat, and Dunk definitely from set pieces, and he's the captain. He could be on, you know, he's on free kicks. Obviously, had one disallowed weirdly versus West Brom, and he might even be on penalties at some point, but who knows there. Next, moving into the other defenders, we have Dallas, obviously somebody who is, you know, quite good, somebody who would be even great outside of a free hit team. I think if you're bringing in a defender for the next couple of weeks and you're wildcarding in 31, Dallas is perfect because Dallas has a very good 29 fixture. He has a very good game week 30 fixture as well after the international break versus Sheffield United. And then you can get rid of him for the run of bad fixtures that they have after the fact. And he's also out of position as well. You know, somebody that plays in midfield that can also get clean sheets. Looks to be a good buy at 5.1 million. Matt Target as well is somebody who he probably would be on the bench in this team. I think I would start, you know, probably Dunk, Dallas, and Cresswell would be my three. Probably the three best defenders, I would think. But Target on the bench here is just somebody who has been providing, you know, crosses towards Ollie Watkins. And I think that he is somebody who can, you know, definitely get a, you know, create a chance here and there. They just need somebody to put them in the back of the net. And with Grealish being out still potentially, maybe he comes back in. And if he is, then it definitely helps him out because that is down Grealish's side. And I think that if he's able to put in some decent deliveries, Watkins has to be putting away his chances. You know, obviously having his assist kind of removed because Watkins' you know, header, as it were, there was an attempt on goal, was more of like a pass across the goal. So he's kind of denied there, but he still ended up getting you know, good bonus points in that game in the 1-1 draw versus Newcastle. So yeah, he would probably be on the bench. And then Cresswell is someone who I haven't had in my team the entire season and has been great. The most points by any defender this season. He's versus Arsenal. I think West Ham are usually watertight defensively. And I think that they'll cause Arsenal problems, especially from set pieces, which he's on basically all of them. And I think that Cresswell is a very important defender. And he would be probably as good, if not better, this week, in my opinion, than the likes of Lewis Dunk or Dallas, who would be the three defenders that I would start. In midfield, I think you have to have the likes of Jesse Lingard. I think he's just fantastic. I think he's the one that makes West Ham tick. He's that energy in the middle of the park. And I think versus Arsenal just seems like a recipe for success. He's typically, when he played for Man United, was very good versus Arsenal. So I think for 6.1 million, can't go wrong there. And also potential captaincy option as well. Then we're going into the cheaper midfielders with Adaman and Lookman. I think he's probably one of the very few Fulham assets out, you know, in the outfield apart from Areola or a defender. I think for 5 million, he's just going to be somebody you're probably going to either put on the bench or, like myself, I have him in my team currently as just like a bench fodder player that I had from my bench boost. And I would play him if you're playing 5 across midfield. I think he's you know, a decent enough pick. And you know, Leeds, they usually like to concede. I think there could potentially be goals in this game, or it could be just a drop 0-0. Who knows? But I think Lookman's quite good. And then Rafinha, obviously, just a no-brainer there. I would say he's probably top 3 attacking players that I would say you probably have to have in your team. It's probably Kane, Rafinha, and then it would have been Son or Bale. You know, a choice there. Obviously, with Son being flagged and more likely to miss this game and have to recover over the international break. Son, I put him in the team just in case he plays because I think that Son would probably be better versus Villa than Bale would. And I think Bale coming off pre-60 minutes is a bit worrying. So I kind of have them both in the team, and I would start Son if Son didn't play. Then obviously, or isn't in the whole squad, which is most likely. It's either he's going to start and Mourinho's just like conning us all, or he's just not going to be in the whole squad, and then obviously Bale comes in for you. And then obviously, speaking of Gareth Bale, he's got to be in there as well. He's got to start, in my opinion, versus Aston Villa. And taking him off was a bit weird. Playing Bale with Doherty doesn't make sense. I just don't understand why they would even consider doing that. You would have to put somebody a bit more functional behind Bale, someone who's going to be a bit more defensive, someone a bit more disciplined. I would even suspect that Bale would flourish better under a back 3 system behind him, and I think that somebody of his quality is allowed to basically kind of stay up the pitch, as it were. I think that Bale is somebody who can definitely, flourish when he's given license to basically do what he wants effectively. And with his partner being Harry Kane, those two can definitely link up well and have done so over the past few weeks. And I think this is the week where you just don't overthink the captaincy, in my opinion. I think you put it on Kane, and that's pretty much it. You don't really think outside the box because everyone's going to have Kane in a free hit draft or potentially in their team this week. I think Kane's probably one of the very few players, if not the only player, to take a -4 for this week. And with Kane, he's going to have over 100% effective ownership, which means that if you don't have him captained, and any points that he will get will ultimately give you a red arrow and hurt your rank. So I think definitely don't over complicate the captaincy this week. Kane is definitely your guy and is where some of your budget should be spent because you have plenty of it. And then the forwards is a bit tricky. I've gone with Ollie Watkins because Spurs defense obviously isn't great. And I've gone with Patrick Bamford as well. Obviously, if Bamford's injured, then you can go for the likes of Antonio, who's perfectly serviceable as well. I would just favor Bamford probably a little bit more just because Leeds create so many chances. And Antonio's been looking a little bit kind of out of it a little bit. It's been more of on like the Lingards, the Bowens, the set piece, takers and defenders getting the returns rather than Antonio. And I don't think he registered a shot in the Man United game either, which is a bit worrying if you're an Antonio owner. But I think 2 out of those 3 forwards should be fine. Obviously, if you're worried about Bamford not playing, then you would play Antonio. So with this team, the team that I would field would be Sanchez in goal. I would go with Dunk, Dallas, and Cresswell. So I would have the Brighton double up in defense. I would have Son if he was available, but if he's not, then I would play Bale, Lingard, Rafinha, and I kind of like Lookman as well. If Son was obviously available, I would play Son. And if not, you could potentially trade him out for somebody else. Maybe you go for the likes of a Bowen or somebody like that, or Fornals, or even potentially a Harrison or somebody like that, potentially in the midfield for Leeds. And then up front, you have Kane, captain. You have Watkins and Bamford. And then obviously one of those would be Antonio if you feel that Bamford isn't going to be fully fit. So you go for more of a 3-4-3 formation. I think that probably works the best. And it allows you that if Son does play, then you have, Son and Bale and Kane, Lingard and Rafinha. I think those are that's like the big 5 in terms of the attackers this week. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about the draft, and who would you start if you had, this. I have to go on that side. This draft for the players that I've selected, and if there's anyone that I may have missed that would be considered a must-have in your Game Week 29 free hit team. And that's going to do it for our Game Week 29 blank Game Week 29 free hit draft. If you haven't done so already, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. And drop us a follow over on Twitter so that you can keep up to date with all the content and posts that we put over there. And give us a follow over on Twitch so that you can see when we go live for our preview and deadline streams. We will be doing a deadline stream tomorrow for blank Game Week 29, 7 p.m. EST over on Twitch. So make sure to come over and check us out live for that. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, take care.